Hi, my Zabuza. But Zabuza, his name is so hard to say. I always knew Naruto was a good show. I just never thought it was worth my time, I guess. It was always on my list, but I kinda didn't want to get into another really long series. I've been watching slash reading One Piece for around 3 years now, and I never thought Naruto or any of the other big anime could compare to it. And so far, while Naruto is good, it doesn't. And honestly, I don't expect it to. And I'll be making quite a few One Piece references this video. Well, that was the intro. I just made a lot of people mad, and that brings me an enormous amount of joy. Joking aside, Naruto has been really good so far. As of writing this essay of a script, I have watched the first 52 episodes, and today I will be talking about my thoughts and review for the first 19 episodes, covering the Land of Waves arc, with the next video being a big chunk of the Chunin exams arc. This is my first review video, so tell me your thoughts about this in the comments. No spoilers or I will literally block you. No cap. Also, sorry, I meant to have this video out earlier. I've been on Ruby brain rot for like the past week or so, and I probably still will be until the end of Volume 8, but that's not what this video is about, so let's just get into it. Starting off with the first episode, it definitely wasn't the best premiere episode that I've seen in anime, but it did what it had to do. It established the world, the powers, and the characters. Right off the bat, I knew a lot of things. Number 1. Naruto wants to become a Hokage, a ninja in his village that is held of high respect and has accomplished a great feat of some sorts. I'm not sure exactly what feats, or what qualifies as one of those feats, but it's whatever. Kaizoku Oriwanaru, I guess. Number 2. Ninja have abilities called ninjutsu that allow them to do basically anything, like make shadow clones or generate shurikens. And third, Naruto is kind of an outcast, having the spirit of some fox that went on a rampage however many years ago, I forget. And the thing that I didn't like the most about this episode, though, was just how Naruto kind of just like instantly got an upgrade. Like, yeah, he was training a lot for it, but like he just reads some random forbidden scroll, and now suddenly he seemingly masters an even more advanced technique that he wasn't even able to do before. But that was my only big complaint. I liked Iruka a lot in this episode too, with him willing to sacrifice himself for Naruto being a really heartfelt moment, I guess. But that can't even compare to another even sadder moment coming up later. Moving on to the next plot thread. Unlike the first one, I really have nothing to say about this. I really don't like Konohamaru. The whole thing with him was really boring and didn't need to exist, but I guess it is what it is. But on to the assignment of teams. This was really interesting. So we have Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, and they all get put on the same team, Team 7. And there's other teams assigned too, with Kiba, my favorite character, Hinata, who I actually initially hated, but like later on the tuning exams arc, I really like her. But and also with Shino, he's cool too, but they're on a team. And there's also Ino, Choji, and Shikamaru being on a team as well. I don't remember their team numbers, but it doesn't matter. So in order to pass their first exam test thing, the three of them have to steal 2 bells from the team leader Kakashi to pass the test. Kakashi's really cool. I like him too. Naruto tries over and over and over again, but he can't even get anywhere near Kakashi. Sakura is head over heels for Sasuke, and so what Kakashi does to her is he makes an illusion where Sakura sees Sasuke brutally covered in knives bleeding out, and it's very morbid, but then she faints not once but twice. And honestly, that was the funniest thing in the show up until that point, like, in my opinion. Sasuke didn't stand a chance either. He was defeated by Kakashi as well when he attempted a sneak attack. Eventually, they all lost and failed. Before Team 7, no one has ever passed Kakashi's tests, and so I was low-key scared. Kakashi tells them that the reason they failed was because they didn't work together, like, at all. And this was very true, as they all came at Kakashi as individuals and competing with each other. He punished them, cough, Naruto, cough, and let Sasuke and Sakura eat their lunch, but tied Naruto up and told them not to feed him. But Sakura gives him some of her lunch anyway, and Kakashi pulls up back again like, hey, you passed now. And that's kind of it. That's basically all of the plot for that mini arc. I really liked it, and it was a great introduction for Kakashi and his character, as well as created the start of Team 7's relationship with each other. Next up, we have the Land of Waves arc, and wow, this arc was amazing, and I'm sure I'll be saying that a lot for this section of the review. Naruto and company are just doing a bunch of lame tasks, like getting people's lots of cats and stuff, and Naruto is just like, hey, this freaking sucks. And then the Hokage is like, okay, escort this old man so he can make a bridge. And so they do that. This dude named Tazuna is building a bridge in the Land of Waves, and he wanted some fodder ninja to protect himself from bandits and stuff. Nothing else is going on. Do not question. By the way, this map is so confusing. It seems like, to me, that they just keep adding more villages, like hidden villages. But the cloud one looks interesting, though. But it's going to take me a while to remember all of these. Anyway, this arc goes on for like 13 episodes. So, plot twist, there's a lot more to this dude. So, 2 Mist Ninja attack them out of nowhere, and then Sasuke and Kakashi beat them up. And then Naruto gets mad because Kakashi told him he was beating up people wrong. So, he stabbed himself in the hand to prove he is really ready for anything. Apparently, because Naruto has that fox dude in him, he has super healing, so he fully heals from that wound relatively quickly. Kakashi is like, okay, that's weird, but then he turns to Tazuna and is like, what the heck, dude? What's happening? And Tazuna says that, well, he is a bridge builder, but this evil businessman Gato has been ruling over the Land of Waves and is basically running it to the ground. And he's trying to make a bridge so he can help build the economy or something. All good stuff. And Team 7 is just like, oh, okay. And so they keep heading to the Land of Waves. On their way, though, they run into this dude named Zabuza. I love him. And he's a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. I thought the Hidden Mist Village was in the Land of Waves, but no, it's in the Land of Water. Obviously, there's a difference, I guess. This Zabuza dude is scary because he killed everyone in his class or something when he was like 10. And Kakashi sees that he's scary and reveals his magic eye, the Sharingan. The Sharingan makes it so that you can see through anyone's ninjutsu and also replicate it. Pretty powerful. I wonder how you unlock it though. Like, are you just born with it? Because Sasuke unlocks it later in this arc as well. Oh well, I mean, I've been told there's lots of more eyes introduced later in the show, so I'm not really going to worry about it too much. Anyway, Zabuza and Kakashi fight for a bit, and using their water clones, but eventually, Kakashi ends up getting trapped in a water hamster ball, basically, and neither of them can move anywhere. Kakashi tells Team 7 to run away, save themselves, etc., etc., but Naruto says no. And so what he and Sasuke do is actually really cool. Naruto makes a bunch of shadow clones to go after Zabuza, and while all the clones get beat up by one of Zabuza's clones, he turns one of his clones into a giant kunai. Kunai are basically knives, and he gives it to Sasuke to throw it. Sasuke grabs another kunai, this time a real one, and so he throws both kunai at the same time at Zabuza. But Zabuza, his name is so hard to say. Zabuza dodges both of them. The thing is, though, one of those kunai is Naruto's clone. So, surprise attack. Naruto throws a regular kunai at Zabuza, and this time he can't dodge it. and so he has to let go of his water hamster ball and ends up freeing Kakashi. From there, Kakashi starts replicating lots of Zabuza's water attacks, which makes him angry, and he's easily defeated by a surf attack from Kakashi. Then, out of nowhere, this dude with a sick mask comes and kills Zabuza. This dude is a hunter ninja, and I love that little bit of world building for the villages. The hunter ninja are powerful ninja that are basically assassins for the hidden villages that go out and assassinate rogue ninja, like Zabuza, because the rogue ninja holds secrets from the village they hail from, both in their mind and their body, which I found really interesting, and I wonder if we'll see any of that coming later in the show. So this mysterious hunter ninja takes Zabuza's lifeless body away from the crime scene. Not long after that, however, Kakashi passes out from fatigue from using the Sharingan for an extended period of time, and all four of them are brought to Tazuna's house to recover from the battle they just fought. Not like Sakura did anything, though. Kakashi wakes up a couple days later in Tazuna's house, along with his team and Zabuza's daughter and grandson, still unable to move fully, but one of his first thoughts is about his fight with Zabuza, and how there are lots of weird and sus things that happen at the end.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
The Hunter Ninja that carried off Zabuza killed him with a non-lethal weapon, and Hunter Ninja usually do their autopsy and discarding of the body immediately, and they almost never take the body away. So Kakashi assumes that Zabuza is still alive, and the next time, their meeting probably won't go the same as the last one. Meanwhile, Tazuna's grandson is like, I hate heroes, etc., and storms out of the room. And Kakashi basically ignores him, and he starts training Team 7 so they can prepare for their next encounter. He starts out with chakra control, being able to channel the power he needed for ninjutsu and genjutsu into specific parts of the body. So he starts off easy. He tells them to climb a tree, but without their hands. Piece of cake. Just walk up it by channeling chakra up to your feet. Now this is finally an area Sakura can shine. She climbs all the way up to the top of the tree, first try. Naruto and Sasuke, on the other hand, not so good. When it comes to this technique, they're basically equals, and it gives them something to compete over. Elsewhere, we see a wounded Zabuza, along with a hunter ninja, who is revealed to be his subordinate. This dude's name is Haku. I love him as well, and he's really calm and collected, unlike his master. Once Zabuza is fully healed, he plans on settling things with Kakashi. While Naruto and Sasuke are fighting while climbing trees, Sakura and Tazuna go shopping for food in town, and Sakura gets a first-hand look at the poverty and fear that the residents of the Land of Waves live in, truly showing how despicable Gato and his company are. At dinner that night, Sakura notices a picture with a portion of it torn out, and she asks about it. Bad idea. Tazuna's grandson Inari runs out of the room, and he explains that the person torn out from the photo is a man named Kaisa. He was a person who is regarded as a hero of the village, as a couple years ago he swam through a torrent of water after some heavy rain that broke a dam. Because he was held in such high regard by everyone in the town, especially Inari, when Gato showed up, he nabbed Kaisa, broke both of his arms until they were mangled more than mangled from FNAF, and then executed him publicly. That was fun. I really didn't expect Naruto to get this dark. I mean, it wasn't dark, but I wasn't really expecting that level from it, kind of that early in the show. But it did. And that's not even the best flashback yet. But because of that incident with Kaisa, most of the residents of the Land of Waves have resigned themselves to their situation and have basically lost hope. And Naruto, moved by the story, resumes his training with the sole intent to prove to Inari that there are still heroes in this world. A couple days later, both Naruto and Sasuke are able to climb to the tops of their own respective trees. Naruto is so exhausted from this that the next day, when they escort Tazuna to work on the bridge like they do every day, they let Naruto sleep in. Naruto wakes up and gets super mad at them, and it's actually pretty funny. It just so happens, however, though, that this was the day Zabuza decided to attack Kakashi. And so, Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, and Tazuna arrive at the bridge at the site of all of Tazuna's bridge workers unconscious, with Zabuza and Haku ready to confront them. As soon as Naruto woke up, he booked it for the bridge, but on his way there, he noticed, I think it was a pig, and some nearby trees that were all cut down heading in the right direction of Tasuna's house, where Inari and his mother still were. I think it was a pig, but I'm actually just looking at the wiki for this and adding my commentary to it basically, and they didn't mention that part, but I'm pretty sure I remember right. High school prepared me for this. Two of Gato's thugs were at Tazuna's house, attempting to kidnap Tazuna's daughter Tsunami. Inari is scared for his life, but he has a really cool moment where he charged at the thugs to make a distraction for Naruto to come in, save the day, and then comically ties them up. And then he heads for the bridge, leaving Inari and Tsunami. Back at the bridge, Kakashi and Zabuza engage in combat, just as well as Haku and Sasuke having a really interesting battle as well. And Sakura is just standing there doing nothing as always. In Haku versus Sasuke, Haku unveils his ultimate technique, the Crystal Ice Mirrors technique. I'm exaggerating, but it was actually a really cool attack. Though I was kind of just like, can't Sasuke just walk out? Like, yeah, he's being pelted by needles, but like, surely he could. The Crystal Ice Mirrors technique makes numerous ice mirrors around a target in a tent-like shape, and the user can merge into the mirrors and travel between them faster than the eye can see. Naruto arrives, and first thing he does is get trapped in the Crystal Ice Mirrors with Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke continue to try to break the ice mirrors, and as they slowly find weaknesses in them, Haku gets uneasy and decides to stop playing pacifist and actually try to kill them. From the other part of the bridge where Zabuza and Kakashi are, Kakashi once again is like,
That's suspicious. That's weird.
and realizes that Haku's ice mirrors are actually an ice-style Genkai, a genetic trait that some ninja have. At first I was just like, what? And I still am like, what? But Kakashi decides to break out his Sharingan to finish his fight with Zabuza quickly so he can intervene in Naruto and Sasuke's fight. But this time, Zabuza is prepared. He gains the advantage by making the surrounding area covered in heavy fog. Kakashi rushes to Sakura and Tazuna because he assumes that Zabuza will attack him, but he ends up being stabbed in the back by Zabuza's really big sword. And so going back to Naruto and Sasuke, they're losing by a large margin, and then out of nowhere, Sasuke awakens his clan's linear ability, the Sharingan. And so, are we just handing these things out like lollipops now? Like, what? Does this mean that Kakashi is part of the Uchiha clan as well? I have a few questions. With his new Sharingan, Sasuke can now track Haku's lightning-fast movement within his mirrors. Haku notices this and directs his attention to Sasuke as he's considerably a bigger threat than Naruto. With a huge volley of needles, they're Senbon, but I'm just calling them needles, Haku incapacitates Sasuke and kills him. I was like, hold on. What? Obviously, I knew he's going to survive because, like, Shippuden and stuff, but, like, he just straight up dies. And then later, Sakura says he doesn't even have a pulse. So I'm confused what happened there, but I guess all's well that ends well. Moving on. After that, Naruto taps into his nine-tailed chakra pool and proceeds to beat the ever-loving crap out of Haku. And when he taps into the nine-tailed chakra, he gains a more animalistic form. With his eyes turning red and slanted, his nails get longer, and he runs on all fours, which in my opinion was really, really cool. As the fight finishes and the nine-tailed chakra recedes, Haku realizes that he has lost the battle and asks Naruto to kill him as he has failed Zabuza. Okay, what? Also,
Flashback.
Haku had a pretty stable family in the land of water, but all was not as it seems. As it would turn out, the ice-style Kakakai is a genetic trait that had a huge stigma around it. From what I've seen of it, it's basically waterbending. people with this trait seem to be like omens or something, and they bring huge misfortune to the point where people with this trait are hunted down in a messed up witch hunt to eradicate them all. As luck would have it, Haku's mom had this trait, and while she could use it, she hid it from everyone because, you know, you wouldn't want to be on the blunt end of a witch hunt, right? But one day Haku's with his mom, and he's like, "Holy crap, I can waterbend, look, ma!" And his mom is just like, "Please no." But by then, it was already too late. His father murders his mom in front of him. Oh my god. But anyways, his dad's just like, "Okay, now it's your turn." And Haku says no, and does this. And the heck? Like, it was a really cool scene. And, like, yeah, it was kind of morbid and violent, but, like, it was still a really cool scene. And just, like, the image of destruction. And they deserved it, too. But sometime after that, Haku is a little homeless little kid, and Zabuza is just like, "You're adorable, I'm adopting you." Which, honestly, mood. End of
Flashback.
Meanwhile, in Kakashi's fight, he reveals the best jutsu in existence. He sends out a bunch of doggos to restrain Zabuza. They're so adorable, look at them. But after the doggos restrain Zabuza, Kakashi prepares his lightning technique that will basically one-shot Zabuza. Haku, seeing this, says, "I know I wanted you to kill me, Naruto, but psych!" And he takes the hit for Zabuza, and he tragically dies. No cap, this was like a really good scene, and it low-key made me tear up. Unfazed though, Zabuza continues the fight, but Kakashi dislocates both of Zabuza's arms, so he's unable to fight any longer. And then out of nowhere, Gato shows up and is like, "Haha, I'm gonna kill you all." And Zabuza decides that Kakashi is not his biggest priority at the moment. And after tearfully acknowledging Haku's sacrifice through one of Naruto's protagonist speeches, he straight up kills Gato with a kunai in his mouth. Now that was a really satisfying scene. Meanwhile, Sasuke gets back to the dead, but that doesn't matter right now because I am crying. Zabuza collapses and he tells Kakashi that his final wish is to look at Haku while he dies. And this scene legitimately had me crying. Like, I know I'll say like, "Oh yeah, I was crying," but I'm actually not. No, this was like 1 a.m. binge session snot crying. I'm so emotionally numb, and I never really show any form of negative emotions, really. So like, if an anime is able to get any form of like emotion out of me like that much, that's a big thing for, at least for me. And so like, this show is a lot better than I thought it would be. Anyway, Team 7 buries Zabuza and Haku and depart from the Land of Waves, leaving on the same bridge Tazuna was building. Tazuna decides to get the name Naruto copyrighted before anyone else and appropriately names the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge. If only he knew Naruto was an MC. Anyways, that's the end of the review, I guess. This is mainly just me recapping with a big bit of my spicy commentary. I'm not like totally not Mark or anything. This video is actually, when looking at the recording time, it's actually going on for a lot longer than I thought it would. But I'm not good at like analyzing like world building or like character dynamics. But like, I will say this though, power systems are my favorite thing in the world. And by power systems, I mean like what powers people have, what the limitations are, what structure it has, and what the weaknesses are, stuff like that. And so far, while ninjutsu is great and is definitely really, really cool, it's not my favorite power system out there. With ninjutsu, all it seems you have to do is memorize hand signs, and then you can do whatever you want. Like, it drains your chakra, but it doesn't really have any big limitations. Like, take One Piece and devil fruits. When you eat a devil fruit, you gain an ability, whether it is to be made of rubber, generate wax, or turn into a dinosaur. But there's always a hard set weaknesses and limitations to those. You can't swim, water makes you weak, and Seed for some stone works especially well for you. And there's some other like specialty like weaknesses like Mr. 3's wax fruit. You can't use it in high heat, which makes sense. But with, and you also only have one power available to you through that fruit. That usually works best in power systems like My Hero and other shows, and that's mainly what people like. But I'm not saying there's some people who don't like that, but Naruto, it's like if you can just do this hand sign and you're breathing fire, another hand sign and you're making water hamster balls, and another hand sign you're making 30 shadow clones. It's like there's no like really no specialty kind of. Like there is some people with specialties, and I'll talk about that a lot more in the Chunin exams arc, which that arc's actually really good too. But it just doesn't feel unique to one character, if that makes sense. Anyway, that probably doesn't make sense to anyone. It makes sense in my head. Actually, it doesn't make sense in my head. I'm just going to stop talking about it. But next time, I'll be reviewing a big chunk of the Chunin exams arc. I was planning on doing it in this, like the small bit, like the first exam. I was going to do it in this video, but I ran out of time. I'll be having a lot of fun there with all the different jutsus. I can't wait to talk all about it. I have no idea when the next video in the series will be up, though, as this video has already taken me 2 weeks to make. But tell me what your thoughts are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.